Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So if you have been following along on the G80 M3 detail, you guys know that we did a decon, we did the whole paint correction, and now we are ready to ceramic coat it. So everything looks great. The paint turned out amazing. And I'm really looking forward to getting the ceramic coat on. And the product that we're going to be using is G-Technic CSL and XOV4. I use this on my STI. I absolutely love it. I've used it on other cars before. It holds up very well. It's easy to apply, and we're going to be doing the same exact thing to this. Now it's going to take a total of 3 coats. There's 1 layer of CSL, and then 2 layers of XOV4 is what I usually do. Between each coat, you're looking at 2 hours cure time. So it takes quite a while to get this done. And also you want to make sure when you ceramic coat it that you have at least a 24-hour window of no rain or the car getting wet. You do not want to take the car out sooner than 24 hours. You got to let the ceramic coating to properly cure before it can get wet. Otherwise, it's not going to last as long, it's not going to be as durable, and you're just not going to get the true performance and the longevity of what this can actually do. This typically can last anywhere from 3 to 5 years, depending on how you actually take care of it. If you stay on top of the washes like I do with my STI, it'll last a very long time. Obviously, if you leave the car garaged, it'll last a long time. But if you store the car outside and you don't wash it often, you know, it can be a little bit shorter than that. I've seen it last around 2 years or so if you just store the car outside, which, you know, it happens and everybody doesn't have access to a garage. But either way, 2 years is pretty good of not having to do any type of coating, sealant, wax, whatever. But this stuff is fantastic. It's super hydrophobic. One of the best things about this is it looks like wax. I was never really a big fan of ceramic coating until this came out. I always found that the coatings looked a little synthetic, a little fake, and it never really looked as deep and glossy as a proper sealant and wax. But then I tried this out because people were saying that it actually does look like wax. You know, it gives it that depth, gives it that gloss. So I tried it and I love it, and this is all I use now. So as you can see, the paint, this is Brooklyn Gray. If you guys don't know, looks absolutely beautiful. It came out so nice. And if you think this looks glossy and deep right now, just wait until the ceramic coating gets on here and cures. It's gonna look insane. So we're gonna start off with CSL. If you never applied ceramic coating before, it's very simple. You just need to stay on top of it and make sure you get all of it off. You don't wanna let it cure too long because then it'll dry and leave high spots and it won't look good. So what you're actually looking to need to get this done is obviously the ceramic coating. This is the bottle you get. You'll get more than 1 car out of this. I usually get about 3 or 4, maybe 5, depending on the size of the car. So you get a decent amount out of just 1 bottle. XO, you run out a little bit more since you do 2 coats of this, so that goes a little bit quicker. Usually about 2 to 3 cars, depending, again, on the size. But what you actually need to apply this, or at least what I use a CarPro block. Basically, it's just a foam block with a kind of spongy, foamy material here, and it's got slits in the side. And then I get these suede applicator pads. So basically, you lay it over here. You got a nice soft applicator. And you can put some dabs on here, and then you're just going to wipe it on and wipe it off. Also, you're going to need some type of microfiber. I use a low pile microfiber. I found that using something very thin gets the remaining ceramic coat off when you do your final wipe. You know, to remove the residual. Anything that's too fluffy or too big or too thick usually doesn't do as good of a job, and it kind of gets stuck, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. So, all right, so I'm just going to show you real quick of how to get this ready. This is the little block. This is the suede applicator. Just going to lay it over, and then I have a vinyl card. You can use a credit card or whatever, and I kind of just tuck it into those little slots. All right, so that is what we're looking at, and now we're actually going to apply some of CSL on here. Just got to do a few drops. Now keep in mind, when you store this, do not store it with this on here. That has happened before. If you notice, there's no seal on there, and it'll dry out very quickly. So store it with a cap on, because I'd be lying if I said I didn't do that one time. So it comes with this little droplet. Now I do suggest wearing some type of glove on the hand that you are going to be applying the ceramic coat with. So we're going to pick up some ceramic. Now usually this one, the first time I'm actually putting some product on here, I usually tend to put a little bit more just so it gets a little saturated. But that is what we're looking at. Now we're going to come over to the car, and we're going to do small sections. You don't want to do too much, but just kind of like applying wax. You want to do it in kind of like a small area, like that. Then we're going to come back the same way and do the same block that we just did. You can do it a few times. Make sure you're doing nice even coverage, overlapping each pass that you go, just to make sure it's nice and even. And that's that. And now we're going to come over here, get our microfiber, and we're simply just going to wipe it off. It's that easy. So obviously you got to be kind of organized so you know exactly what you have done. But I usually just do a section like that, work on a panel at a time, and then eventually work my way around the car. So that is exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be working on the hood first, going on to the roof, trunk, and we're going to work around the sides and everything. I usually do the top sections first since it's the easiest and usually the biggest panels so I can knock them out. So let me go ahead, let me get the hood done, and then I'll catch back up with you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, so we are finished with the CSL coating. Now I'm gonna let it cure for 2 hours at least. I'm gonna go out for a little bit, enjoy some time with the family. But yeah, you want at least 2 hours before you go on to XOV4. So it's pretty warm in the garage right now. It's about 80, 85 or so. So it's gonna have a nice curing time in here and just kind of chill out. And then I'll jump back on it for XOV4 later tonight for the first layer. And then probably the second layer of XOV4, I'll do it tomorrow morning. But I did everything from all the plastics, the trim, headlights, taillights, as well as the glass. You can use CSL on everything. You guys even saw I did the carbon interior as well. You just got to be careful. You don't want to get it on the leather or any other material. If you do get it on any other material other than what you are coating, like the carbon in this car, you just want to make sure you wipe it off right away. You're not going to have any issues, but if you leave it, it's obviously going to dry, and who knows what will happen. But yes, the car is looking fantastic. I mean, honestly, it's funny how much wider this car looks. I mean, it's wide to begin with, but now that it's getting cleaner and cleaner and shinier and the gloss is getting deeper, it's amazing how much more these hips and these fenders are bumping out. It's pretty crazy. One thing that I noticed just going around the car, you can tell this is 1x1 weave, which is basically like a checkerboard. And then all the other carbon on the car is 2x2. I don't know why they decided to do that. I know with the CSL back in the E46 days, the roof was originally 1x1. That was kind of the original carbon from the M3. So that seems more appropriate. I'm surprised they didn't stick to 1x1 on all the other exterior parts, like the diffuser back here as well, which you can't really see. But on the mirror caps, 2x2. Same thing on the interiors, 2x2. I just found that funny that they didn't kind of stick to the same twill around the entire car. But either way, it still looks nice, obviously. Who doesn't love a carbon fiber roof? But yeah, so I'm gonna let this cure for 2+ hours, and then we're gonna come back tonight and knock out the first layer of XOV4. That is when it starts getting crazy. This is what really brings out the depth and the shine and the deepness. Plus, it takes at least 12 hours for it to fully cure. So it's gonna get deeper and glossier as it cures. But yeah, this thing is turning out amazing. So I will catch back up with you guys later tonight with XOV4. All right, guys, so it is actually several hours later. So the entire CSL coat has 100% cured. It's actually been about 7 hours since I applied the CSL that you guys saw last. So it has been fully cured. It's about 88 degrees in here, very humid, hot. So it had a nice cure time just hanging out in here. But now we're going to start on the XOV4. So we're going to start with the first layer of XOV4. It's the exact same process. You know, wipe it on, cross hatch, wipe it off. This goes on and off like butter. It feels amazing. I love putting this stuff on. It's the last step after you've done everything, so it's kind of like the cherry on top. It's the reward. It just gets better and better with each layer that you put on, and the more time it cures and fully hardens, and it just gets amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. I will show you a little section just so you guys get an example of how to apply it. Again, it's the same way that I applied CSL, but I'll show you just in case you guys are curious. And then we're gonna go around the car, knock everything out, and then we're gonna let it cure overnight, and then I'm gonna jump back on it in the morning to get the final layer of XOV4 on the car. And the more time that I spend with this thing, the more I want one. I've been going on Auto Trader and everything and trying to find a nice example, and I found quite a few that are really, really nice. But yeah, it's been a long day, so let's go ahead. Let's get XOV4, the first layer, on. I'll do some time lapses around the car so you guys can see the process, and then I will catch back up with you once I finish, kind of give you a recap of the day and where we're sitting currently, and then we'll jump back in tomorrow morning. All right, so we got a new suede applicator on there, and here's the bottle of EXO. This one's a little bit different in terms of the applicator or the droplet that comes out. It actually has one included in there, so all we're gonna do is same thing. Just drop a few drops on there like that. Make sure you close this up. You don't want it to start drying out as you're coating. And we're gonna go over to the car. And we're gonna start in the same section that we did before. Same exact thing. So you can kind of see it. It looks like you're just kind of smearing oil on the paint, but this goes on so smooth. It's amazing. So I'll just do a crosshatch. And I typically go back again just to make sure I get a nice even coverage. And then we're going to get our nice clean microfiber and then buff it off. Make sure you do a good job buffing everything off. You don't want to leave it sitting on the car or on the paint, because if you do, it's going to create high spots and it's not going to look good. So yeah, that's the process. Really simple. You just got to keep a close eye on everything, making sure that you're doing a nice even coverage, and then when you go to wipe it off, you get all the excess off. You don't leave any high spots or anything like that. But yeah, there we go. And we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of the car like that. Let me get this knocked out, and I'll catch back up with you in a little bit. All right, guys, so we just finished the first layer of XOV4. Didn't get much footage. It was just super hot, and I just wanted to get it done. But yeah, I mean, look at the gloss on that thing already, and it hasn't even cured. So after the full 2-hour cure time, it's just gonna get deeper and glossier. Plus, we still have another coat to do tomorrow. This is gonna be pretty ridiculous, but man, the gloss and depth on this is absolutely insane. Ugh, man, look at that. Love the quarter panels. I love how wide they are. Looks so, so good. Here's just a quick walk around before we wrap it up for the night, so you can see just how good this thing is looking. I know on camera it always looks shiny, but in person it looks insane. The depth and gloss of this thing is pretty nuts. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out, but let's do a quick little kind of walk around a little bit just so you can see how this thing is looking. But man, oh man, that is looking awesome. I love those fenders. The rear fenders look super wide. Not going to be able to really see too much over here since I don't have much space, but turning out awesome. Carbon roof looks fantastic. I'm going to go take a shower and wrap it up for the night, get some rest. I'm pretty beat. It's been a long couple days on the car and just doing other things with the STI and family and everything. It's been crazy. So I'll catch back up with you guys tomorrow morning. All right, guys, so we are on our final layer of XOV4. So it's been curing all night, and now we're going to knock out the final coat. So everything is looking fantastic. I'm not going to record much, if anything at all, since it's the same exact procedure as I have been doing for the last 2 coats. But I will show you the final result and how everything looks. But it's absolutely looking phenomenal, and I love how this paint is turning out. It looks amazing. So I'm going to get started and just kind of knock it out. It's one of those things that I've done it so many times now that I'm just ready for it to be done, and I just want to see the final result. But it's always nice putting on the last layer of EXO, because all your hard work and everything and all the time that you put into it is finally coming to a close, and you can finally see all your hard work coming to the realization that it turned out amazing. So let me knock out the last layer of XOV4, and then I will jump back in and kind of show you the final results. All right, guys, so the last layer of XOV4 is complete. So the overall gloss and deepness of the paint is going to get better and better as it cures. But this thing turned out phenomenal. This is one of my best detail jobs that I've ever done. In terms of the overall results, obviously it was a new car, so it was pretty easy in terms of paint correction. But overall, it turned out absolutely incredible. I love this paint. I love the color of it. It's just such a sick color, matched with all the black accents and the carbon and everything. It just looks so, so good. So just as a quick recap as to what we did to get it to this point, we did a decon wash with Dawn soap, and then after that we did an iron removal step. We did an auto scrub around the entire car to get rid of any contaminants in the pores of the paint. Wasn't many, again, since it is a new car, so it was fairly easy. After that, we did a one-step polish with a Rupes yellow pad and Sonax Perfect Finish. Then we did a quick wipe down of Geon Prep just to get rid of any of the oils and everything. I didn't get that on camera just because it was a quick wipe down. I was just trying to get it done. And then after that, we moved over to the ceramic coating with G-Technic CSL, one layer. After that, XOV4, and then finally another layer of XOV4. In terms of the ceramic of where I put it, I did it on the glass, on the exterior, all the carbon, everything that you see, it is ceramic coated. Now the wheels, I just used my Obsessed Garage drying aid on them just to put some type of protection on there. Since they are very intricate, and to ceramic coat those, I would need to take the wheels off. And I obviously didn't go to that extent, but it is something that you can do if you are interested in getting everything ceramic coated. With my Volks, those are ceramic coated, but I ceramic coated them when they were off the car, so it's much easier. But as you can tell, these are not the easiest wheels to clean, and I can only imagine how much of a pain in the butt it would be to ceramic coat those. So we didn't do those, but either way, everything on the exterior in terms of the paint, the carbon, the windows, or the glass, I should say, is all ceramic coated and looking absolutely beautiful. So that wraps up this full detail of the G80 M3. I hope it put some clarification and answer some of your questions if you are interested in detailing your car, not just an M3. The same exact step that I did on my STI, I did videos on that as well, so you guys can check that out if you want to see the whole process on that. Same exact process as I did on the M3, and it always turns out great. Over the years, I've just developed this process, kind of fine-tuned it. Obviously, every car is different. Every paint reacts differently as well, so there may be a few different steps. Overall, that's the same process that I use on any detail that I do. So it is such a pleasure to kind of fine-tune that and finally have a good direction to go anytime I do detail. But yeah, spending so much time with this G80 M3 has really got me thinking. I don't know, seeing this in my garage for the past week and just really been in my mind of how amazing of a car this is, and haven't gotten a chance to actually drive it. Is a phenomenal car. Is it something that I would replace the STI with? I don't know. I would have to get more seat time with it, but in terms of overall looks, I mean, this thing looks incredible, even with the crazy front grille. I've grown to absolutely love it, and just having it in my garage for the past week, it's something that I actually think looks really good on this car, and just the design and everything. Obviously, I would get a little bit different spec. I would get the base model, rear-wheel drive, manual, and the first things that I would do is lower it, get some spacers for the wheels, put a front lip on, change up the exhaust note, get it ceramic coated, and get some tin on there, and I think it would be pretty nice. But I don't know. I have been looking at some G80 M3s after having this in my garage for the past week, so it's got my gears turning, but we will see. But for now, the STI is the fun car that is going to be remaining in the garage for now, but we will see what the future holds. But as for this one, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all about the process, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.